Nick Folks here with Folks Custom Cranks. We have two really good crankbait fishermen. When it comes to throwing a crankbait, I'd probably ask these two guys what to throw. So we're going to ask them three questions. What is the #1 crankbait in your mind that you've ever thrown, your favorite crankbait in the world?
Well, it just depends on the time of the year, but I would probably have to say a KVD 1.5 just because it's so versatile and man, there's nothing like the sexy shad color for the memories and things that I've had with that. But you can't do it that way. Your crankbaits are great tools. They're really depth oriented, so you want to pick the specific one that covers that depth and the type of cover that you're fishing. So like, in the summertime, that 1.5 isn't going to do me no good. I need a 6XD. So, but that is one that has been a really good one.
You have a lot of history with that crankbait.
Yeah, but for me, it would be that OG Tiny. We were talking about it earlier out there. It's just it's a small, flat-sided bait, and when I think of crankbait fisherman, that's the one I want to throw. Like Kevin said,
East Tennessee, cold water. That's what you throw.
That's what But like Kevin said, there's so many situations with a crankbait. And where you need a different tool for the job. But yeah, when I think of crankbait fishing, that's the one I want to be.
What about color-wise? Your favorite color?
Man, for color, I'm actually, it's terrible to say, but I'm not overly picky. And you may get some amazing colors, So it's, but I love fishing in dirty water, so I want to be throwing something chartreuse with a
like Coosa, the Coosa special color they do.
Special, the brim, that brim color, those type of colors. I want to be fishing in water where I need that kind of color.
Sure. And then last question is biggest fish on a crankbait, or think of the biggest fish you caught on a crankbait.
Man, I've caught, mine was 12 pounds. I've actually caught two, both of them cranking. One of them was at Lake Murray, and the other one was at Sam Rayburn in Texas. Both of them were practicing for Bassmaster events, back in the day. And
you caught a 12-pounder at Murray on a crankbait?
Yeah,
that'd be stressful.
Unbelievable. Back when they had LED in it in the early 90s. Yeah, unbelievable.
That's incredible. The biggest one I can think of that comes to mind was when I won at Athens. I think it was a 9.2 or 9.5, something like that.
Yeah, that one was on film. So.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest one I can think of that I caught cranking.
Well, awesome. Thank you guys very much for doing that. Two of the legends in the crankbait game. So if you want info for crankbaits, these are the guys to ask.